How to create colourful fibre strands in Photoshop. Something like that. I'm using 220, you could use 219, 218, etc. The key thing is, have some source material to use. Maybe an image, or in this case I'm using a gradient. And the gradient's just created, obviously top left, go to the gradients there, select a gradient, go with the blending mode of difference, and I'm using linear, and apply it a couple of times to create a colourful design. But an image is fine as well. Of course, you could also use brush strokes, just to apply some brushes with different colours, just create something that's very colourful. There, it's been created. Then go to Layer and Smart Objects and convert to a Smart Object. Reason for Smart Object? You can also alter it at any point later. So go to the Window menu and Layers. That's the key one there, key panel. Obviously history is also useful. Now some filters. So go to Filter, Filter menu and Pixelate and Mezzo Tint. Other grains and noise effects are available. So you can choose one of those. Fine, grainy, rough, whatever, coarse. Click OK. So you've got some noise there. Next thing to do, blur it. And you can always change it at any point via the Layers panel because it's a smart object. So Filter and Blur and Radial Blur. Set the amount to the max. Set method to zoom and quality to best, and you can then change the origin point. You don't always have to have it in the centre, that's the default, but you can always put it to the side. And click OK. And you get that lovely zoom effect there, with all that grain added into the image. Always with this, again, smart objects, you can go to the Layers panel and remove it at any time or change it if you wish to change it. So apply another radial blur. Use exactly the same settings, just apply it a couple of times. If you create two entries for the radial blur, it could cause an issue later if you want to change the origin points because you have to change it for both to the same. To get the nice strands or the streaks, what you can do then is go to the Filter menu, and you can go down to Sharpen, and there's Smart Sharpen. I'm going to ignore the shadows and highlights section. I'm just going to use the top part of the panel. And I'm going to go with 500 for the amount and set the radius. You can just vary it, say 50, depends on the size of the image. Once you're happy with that, and also I'm going with Gaussian blur. So you can see there, you've got the streaks, lovely white suddenly comes into this design. And again, you can run it again 2 or 3 times. And again, you can change it in the Layers panel. Run it again with exactly the same settings, click OK. And you've got the streaks again. So you can see that lovely fibre strands bursting across the image. Starburst, a supernova. Again, you can vary it at any point, go into the Layers panel. So if you want to move that origin point, go over there and just go to the... Now, if you want to change the gradient as well, you can actually double click on the entry there for the layers into the smart object, and then you can change it. So you can change the gradient. You don't have to go with the gradient you've created right at the start. And that's the good thing about smart objects. So totally different gradient, and I'm not going to go for a complex gradient this time. I'm just going to go with that. Close the document and save. Once you've done that, it will process it, take a few seconds, just quickly run through all the smart, sharpen, etc. Obviously, the more filters you put on it, the longer it will take. And then you've got your design there. And you can see now it reflects the gradient you just changed. If you want to change the origin point of the radial blur, double-click the entry in the Layers panel. That will bring up the Radial Blurs panel. and then you can reposition it. Click OK. And repeat that again with the other radial blur, because obviously it's going to be in the wrong position. They slightly clash. Of course, maybe that's the effect you want. But you can see that very coarse look at that point. So it's best to put it, modify both. Just drag that over there, put it into the center. Once you've done that, click OK. And of course, you can change the settings if you wish. You don't have to keep the settings. You can also remove it if you wish as well. As the centers of the radial blur is a visual effect, there's no setting, so you can't probably exactly set it in the center. And what you've got to do, you've got smart objects. Of course, it's been a smart object. You can then change it at any point. And of course, you can go and apply other effects as well. So if you want filter, stylize and oil paint, create a more smeary design. Hope you found this tutorial of interest. Please subscribe to the Graphic Extras channel, always adding many tutorials about Photoshop, Illustrator and many others. Please add a comment or two, always appreciated. Also, a dislike or like. Thank you much.